keeps us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. It's Tuesday, not Monday, so do your Tuesday things. Lauren Leisure, good to see you. Man, trying to figure out how I feel today. I just, let's just say thank God for therapy, right? Thank God for the therapists in our lives. Sometimes this world's just too overwhelming for me. Right now, there's an Aerosmith song. One of the lines is, something wrong with the world today, and I'm not sure what it is. There's meltdown in the sky. Aye, aye. Yeah. So, been scheduling too much stuff. Morning, Angel. Good to see you. Yeah. Morning, Michelle. Michelle's Maudlin was a word I had to look up early on in years ago in recovery. Maudlin guilt, and we'll look it up. Just means doing shit when you're drunk. All the bullshit we did when we were drunk, right? The definition, maudlin guilt refers to the excessive and self-pitying guilt. All right. My mom used to drive around with this bumper sticker. Had a screw on it. It was red. Said screw guilt. I remember it quite clearly. Right. And screw guilt trips too, man. All right. Right, Blake, well, right, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Oops, wrong one. Maudlin guilt. Because it gives us an overview and stuff of it. So we're going to kind of utilize it today too. So we're going to start with introductions before I forget. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. The live or the rewatch. What I'm kind of going through is right now is there's some things I want to do, but I don't want to get mixed up with everybody else. It just, I want to set some things up, but I mean, there's a million people doing what I'm doing. And I'm just going to get lost in the crowd, be lumped in with all the other bullshit. And I don't want that. My reputation, I have a reputation. I do. There are some people who don't like me. There are some people that do like me. And then there's some people in the middle, just like everybody else. Right. Anyway, those are first world problems, aren't they? Yeah. All right, let's get started. No maudlin guilt. Day by day, we try and move a little towards God's perfection. So we need not be consumed by maudlin guilt. Let's read all of what he had to say in that in As Bill Sees It on page 15, I believe is where we were going. Yes. The one before that's called newcomer problems. We just had a newcomer problem. He kept interrupting everybody. He was asking for help though. Patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. He said how AA was antiquated and things, and he didn't want to believe in God. He was brought up agnostic. So I sent him to Smart Recovery. Yeah, then you're in the wrong room, dude. You know, kept trying to get people to speak. He's on day 0. Sound about right? Yeah, kind of sounds like somebody else I know, Dion. All right. Leisure says, doesn't don't all of us have a reputation? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I have a, yeah. I just don't want to get lumped in with other people's reputations. So, but it might not be able to be avoided. All right. All right. I do have some people coming on. A preventionist. I'll be talking to her today. Um, another friend of mine. There's a lot of Scots in the program, so I'm just going to go with Scott. He agreed to come on the show. I saw he did another one. He did a real good job too. Um, they're also in a band. Angel, I'm going to give you a little plug here. Angel's in a band called Next Step. They just performed at Dragon's Den. If you're looking for a good cover rock and roll band, they're it, man. I'm telling you. I used to interview a lot of local bands, and I know a good band when I hear them. I know it. Okay. Um, I have had to produce. I've had to direct this shit. I used to put bands on radio, KRFC up in Fort Collins, Saturday nights. My show was called "But Your Daddy Would." Show before me was called "Your Mother Won't Let You," and mine was called "But Your Daddy Would." I thought it was a great name. Anyway, let's get started. Let's get back to this maudlin guilt. So, eternal values. Many people will have no truck with all the absolute spiritual wellness or spiritual values. Perfectionists, they say, are either full of conceit because they fancy they have reached some impossible goal, or else they are swamped in the self condemnation because they have not done so. All right, so we go to these extremes on how we think about ourselves, and we've got to stop with them. Do not determine your own worth. That don't do it. I still slip into this where I try and determine my own worth. I have to let God determine that, or I will fall short. I will either fall short or I will think so much of myself that I'll think I'm perfect. Okay? I'm not perfect, but I am reaching for perfection. I'm reaching for it. It's my goal. There'll be a day when I'm perfect. I'll be dead. It means God has decided I've done everything in this world that I'm supposed to do. I have finished it. That's why I'm not in any hurry to get it done. I want to stick around for a little bit longer, right? So, what else does we have to say about that, right? So, yeah, we go to these extremes, right? But I am going to use perfection. And in my mind, what is perfection? Well, that would be God, my higher power. That is perfection. The world around me, you know, if the earth didn't spin the way that it spun, if Mars wasn't sitting where Mars was at, if this universe didn't rotate the way that it did, I wouldn't be here. And that, my friends, is perfection. Did man create the bumblebees? No, I don't think so. But without them, we wouldn't be here. Without certain animals, we wouldn't be here. Fish. What is that? Well, perfection. And I'm going to aim towards it. All right. Yet, I think that we should not hold this view. It is not the fault of great ideals that they are sometimes misused and become shallow excuses for guilt, rebellion, and pride. On the contrary, we cannot grow very much unless we constantly try to envision what the eternal spiritual values are. What are spiritual values? Good morning, Julia. It's good to see you. What are some spiritual values? Well, I was just in a meeting. Guy on day zero didn't know how everything worked. Well, he said he'd been around for on and off for 10 years. He knows how it works. It's just that he's on day zero and he has a shit ton of maudlin guilt. I know it. He's at the jumping off place, right? And good for him. What a great place to start, man. Okay. So what was the spiritual values there? They were love, tolerance, kindliness, and love. They have to be. Those are my spiritual values. Can I claim that I love everybody? Yes. Yes, I can claim that. But I don't have to. The weird thing with me is liking you is a bigger compliment than love, honestly. Because I got to go out of my way to like people, and there are some people out there that I don't like. I'm just going to say it. It doesn't mean I need to build resentments towards them. It doesn't mean I need to be angry with them. But I'm not gonna sit down and break bread with them either. I'm not required to do that. But if one of them showed up in my door saying, Dion, you're the only person in this world I think that can help me, I'm willing to put aside all my shit to do exactly that. I would, because I'm not going to argue with God. No. See, I believe people can change. And I know because I did, because I watch it every day. All right. Day by day, we try to move a little towards God's perfection. Just a little. Doesn't have to be these leaps and bounds. I like the little parts because then I don't miss anything. I don't like missing out. But I found something out. God isn't going to let me miss out on anything. He is not, I have not missed out on a darn thing. There have been times when I have felt completely separated from the recovery community. And it wasn't until 2 years later that I would find out is because they were doing something that would not match my morals. God knew that, so he separated me from them. Thank you, God. Did I recognize it at the time? No, I did not. I was pissed. I wanted revenge. I wanted vengeance. I want. And God's answer was, no, Dion. I need you for something else. And he was right. He was right. Still trying to figure out what that something else is. That's the part that frustrates me, but there's other things that are going on. Like I said at the beginning of this, thank God for therapy. All right. So we need not be consumed by maudlin guilt for failure to achieve his likeness and his image by Thursday next. I'm going to tell you something. I've worked hard on it. I ain't even close. Well, I don't know. How would I know if I'm close? I don't know what perfection is yet. If I knew what it was, I could be it. But I need something to strive for. It's like the carrot in front of the horse. They put the carrot on the stick and the horse will go forward because he's trying to get to it because he doesn't have enough of a brain. Well, that's pretty much me. But every now and again, God will pull back the stick and give me a bite of that carrot. He'll give me a glimpse into a world of which I'm going to be a part of. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And you know where it is? It's on the other side of the door, willingness. It's where it is. All right. His likeness, progress is our aim. And his perfection is the beacon, light years away, that draws us on. Right? We need something to help us strive for as long as we live. We cannot have that uselessness in our lives. We've got to be useful people, or we will go back to the drink. Eventually, you can screw around with the program for 20 years. I've watched it. I'm watching it. Okay. But I'm hoping somewhere in that 20 years, God enters and takes over and does what and performs his wonders that amaze, man. All right, so I'm gonna read the portion for today's daily reflection, and then we're gonna do an AI overview on Maudlin Guilt and what it is about. Again, just as a reminder, if you have a different experience here, please let us know about it. Okay? This isn't an area where you don't get to, this is, no, we want to hear your, even if it goes directly against what I'm saying, your experience is your experience, and we need it. We need it. See, everything I do just tells me I should be doing the podcast. So if anybody knows of a speaker, if you would like to tell your story, please let me know. I even reached out to Chad Gracie. I took a chance. Chad Gracie is he was the original lead guitarist for a band called Live. They sang a song called Lightning Crash, All Over You. They're one of those bands where you're like, yeah, I don't know who that is. And then I play a song for you, but oh, I know that song. Oh yeah, I know that song. Yep, I know that. It's one of those. They were a 90s rock band that saved me from killing myself when I was 23, which I think I was younger than that. Then they saved my ass again when I was in jail. Anyway, all right. So back to the reading. When I first discovered that there is not a single don't in the 12 steps of AA, I was disturbed because this discovery swung open a giant portal. Only then was I able to realize what AA is for me. I'm curious to hear this. AA is not a program of don'ts, but do's, right? So why do we not have don'ts? Don't do that. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Because we're alcoholics and we don't like being told what to do. That's why. It's the only reason why. When things are suggested, see, we have our experience. And what is assertiveness? Assertiveness is I statements, right? So, I've been there before and I know what that's like, and I found a way out. See, me, me, right? AA is not martial law, it is freedom. I'm liking this one. AA is not tears over defects, but sweat over fixing them. We are actually a very solution oriented people. It's just alcohol disrupts all of that. It's an evil corroding thread that will destroy everything good in life. And I don't give a fuck who you are. It will do that. I believe that alcohol is the devil. Now, alcohol is the devil. Julia says, I love that. Thanks. I'm presuming you're talking about the reading, though. Because the reading's pretty good. All right. It is not penitence, it is salvation. The grace of God. But for the grace of God, man. One day we're gonna have to talk about grace. Just that. Grace. Why is nobody writing all this stuff down for me? I used to have somebody that used to do all that for me for years. And then I found out that they were taking everything I did and giving it to the people that wanted to take me out. It was very sneaky. It's why I won't let other people kind of interfere with it anymore. Brought me some great fucking speakers and stuff though. So kind of a bummer. Could have gotten a lot of stuff done together. Right. Anyway, doesn't matter. We learned, right? We learned. Do I hate that person? No, because I believe people can change. That person's easily manipulated because they hadn't changed yet. So wasn't, you know, when we put stars in front of people's eyes, stars. Sorry, I got to do that. Whenever I say stars, I gotta. Uh, it's it's Resident Evil where the guy's going, where the guy's going after stars members, and he just walks around going stars. Yes, Angel, you know exactly who I'm talking about. AA is not woe to me for my sins past and present. AA is praise God for the progress I am making today, right? Once we let go of that maudlin guilt, okay? Guilt, Angel, yeah. And Angel, my wife will never let me talk to that person again. I tend to be too forgiving. I don't know if you guys have figured this out, but um I have codependency issues. I do. It's part of my empathy. Julia says, that's no moon, that's a space station. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're saying. And this guy was on. Oh, wait a minute. It's got a voice changer. Is it what? Oh, I think I left it on and now it's not working. I ran out. Oh, no, it is working. I'm your father. All right. All right. Darth Vader was on the space station. Do you guys know what? Do you know what it is yet? I'll give you another clue. That's Han Solo's line. All right. Oh. Angel says, so do I, but I'm not as forgiving anymore. Yeah, I forgive, but I ain't gonna fucking forget. I can't. I notice everything is impossible for me. I do hear what you're saying with you, and I do not disagree. All right, let's get to no, not modeling built. Maudlin Guilt. Okay, there's something going on because there's a lot of dogs howling. Actually, it sounds more like a pack of foxes out there. All right, so maudlin guilt refers to excessive and self-pitying guilt, often exaggerated or sentimental. Got frothy emotional appeal in the big book. It is a feeling of sadness and remorse, sometimes triggered by alcohol, that can be seen as overly dramatic or foolish. In Alcoholics Anonymous, the phrase no maudlin guilt is used to encourage a focus on progress and action rather than dwelling on the past mistakes. So, we need to learn from our mistakes or we cannot move past them. Then, yes, I'm saying we. I say we here a lot. People are like, you need to use more I statements. And I say, yeah, I use we because this is a we program. This isn't a Dion program. And there are some things that we all have in common. This is one of them, right? It's about being a part of. There's a trick to it. And I'm not going to tell you it because it's my trick. All right. So remember at the beginning, a slip. A slip is maudlin guilt. Anytime that we make a mistake and we go excessive, it's okay to feel guilty to the point where you understand that you need to do something about it. Otherwise, it's no good. It's no good. How can you get past guilt? Self esteem. Building high self esteem is the key to getting out of maudlin guilt. I fell into this quite often. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants me. Everybody picking on me. Okay, my PTSD kind of helps out with it. It'll kick itself in there. No, Dion, they're just all out to get you. And then the paranoia starts. Then the paranoia would start, right? All right. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Excessive and self-pitying. Maudlin guilt is characterized by an overabundance of emotional reaction to past mistakes or wrongdoings, often with a strong element of self-pity. Good morning, Amber. Is your lunch still at 11? That's why I do it at 11. How's that for some modeling guilt? I only said that so I could crack the joke, just so you know. But it is good to see you, Amber. Good morning. Right? Past mistakes or wrongdoings, and that includes others. What is part of this? Trauma. Unhealed trauma. I'm gonna give you a piece of old man advice here. When it comes to trauma, you got two choices. You can either go to therapy and face your snakes. You can do the steps and face your snakes, get some courage, follow the path of your higher power, or you can wait until you're 45 and have a breakdown in the middle of King Supers. Yeah. Those are your options. All right. Amber says, yes, it is. Sometimes I run errands during lunch since I live in BF. Yeah, you do. All right. Not only that, but then what happens is then I exaggerate them, right? So sentimental and exaggerated. These feelings are often described as tearful or seeming or overly sentimental, sometimes to the point of seeming foolish or exaggerated. We can't help this until we recognize it. We can't help this. Okay. When here I'm going to describe my PTSD to you just a little bit, even though a lot of people already here understand it, because I have found that people with other mental illnesses tend to listen to me. Not all of them, but it's because I have them too. So um, I just love it when people call, let it ring once, and then hang up. I call them back and I hang up on them. I'm such a reactive person. I'll even be like, why are you calling and hanging up on me? Click. How rude. I need for revenge. Okay. I gotta laugh at it, right? So sometimes it doesn't happen as often anymore because I became responsible for my triggers. But in the past, somebody would say something would happen. Like maybe you just brought up a person. And what would happen is I would be reliving that moment of trauma in my brain. My brain would be saying, this is happening right now, and we need to act accordingly. And it was always anger. I'd start shaking very, very bad. My heart rate would zoom. It would go clear up to a very dangerous point. Now, what was going on is it was sitting in my whatever part of the brain that says it's happening right now, even though it wasn't. And I needed to turn that into a memory. But for me, it was happening. I was 14 again, sitting in that fucking car with my stepdad as he continuously fucking cut me down, threatened to beat the crap out of me. All these things that he would say to me when nobody else was around, right? That stopped the day that I pushed him back. He said something to me when I was 15 and kind of got in my face and went, bam! Because by that time I'd gotten a lot tougher. He didn't fuck with me anymore. Go figure. All right. So that's why sometimes it's exaggerated. There might be other things going on. Okay. But in this case, what we've been doing is we've been using guilt as a reason to continue drinking. It's just an excuse to fucking drink. Okay. Alcohol related. The term is often associated with being drunk, as alcohol can sometimes make people more emotionally vulnerable and prone to exaggerated sadness or self pity. Why is that? Because alcohol is a depressant. It is also going to bolster whatever emotion you currently have. If you are angry, it's going to make you angrier. If you are unhappy, it's going to make you unhappier. That's what alcohol does. Okay. It is a depressant. It also hits the reward center. So what you're getting is a double whammy. Oh, I'm depressed. You drink, it goes to the reward center, and the reward is saying depression. That's the reward. Double whammy, man. Right there, just by drinking. Just by putting some alcohol in you, you know. They often say that the only people that tell the truth are children and drunk people. In Alcoholics Anonymous, the phrase maudlin guilt is a common saying in Alcoholics Anonymous. No, it is not. No, it is not. I don't think I've never heard the topic be maudlin guilt or anything. I don't know where I got that from, but that's not, at least in my experience. Is a common saying emphasizing that members should focus on taking positive steps towards recovery rather than dwelling on past mistakes. Yes, but we don't use that phrase. Um, what does maudlin guilt mean? Describe someone as maudlin, you mean that they are sad and sentimental in a foolish way, perhaps of drinking alcohol. Yeah. So literally, it means acting a certain way because of guilt and making it worse by drinking alcohol. We do not need to live with guilt, blame, and shame. These are things that society has decided to put on us because they want to deem some. See, even a whole society will sit there and cut other people down just so they can feel better about themselves. It happens quite often, all the time. All right. There's a thing out there called the Abilene effect. And what it means is that a group of people will make a wrong decision based upon the popular decision and not what actually needs to happen. And it happens all the time in the recovery field. That's why the treatment centers are now lumping alcoholics, addiction, and mental health all into the same place. They go to the same classes. You have people with mental health issues being taken to closed AA meetings. We got, yeah, and these are separate things. They're separate things. But when we lump things together like that, we lumped mental health with alcoholism before. You know what we got? Frontal lobotomies. We're going backwards, my friends, when it comes to the recovery stuff. We're going backwards. We are not moving forward in that sense. The only thing that is moving forward that I know of is Alcoholics Anonymous. Even your Smart Recovery, Celebrate Recovery, things like that. I'm going to tell you here very, very shortly, one of those two groups is going to pick something that is going to be their demise. They're going to go for some political favor. They're going to go for education. Something will happen, and those programs will disappear too. I can tell just by the structure of them. We tried those ways. They didn't work. Right? See, no one in AA is making money. Smart Recovery, there's owners. Celebrate Recovery, there's owners. You need to go through classes to chair one of their meetings. AA doesn't work that way. Right? I hope I'm wrong, because some of those programs seem to work, man. So, all right, that's going to be it for this one. I appreciate y'all being here. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.